Welcome to a quiet December. If you watched my last video, you would have seen that I had a very busy start to the month. So as the year draws to a close, I'm focusing on slowing things down, taking time to reflect, and creating a peaceful environment at home. I think Christmas can often be busy and stressful, so this is always really important to me. As both mine and my partner's family are located interstate and overseas, our Christmases are inherently quiet. I'm not hugely into Christmas, and I don't actually always set up my little tree, but I felt like it this year. And of course, I have some spooky decorations, which I'll show you soon, and some dark tinsel as well. But first, I'm going to pop on the audiobook of Brom's Krampus. This is our book this month in my Patreon book club, and it's been really helping me get into the festive mood. These are the Xmas-themed ornaments which were gifted to me by Killstar a few years ago. I really love the spirals on the baubles and of course the little bats as well. Today I'm headed out to pick up some gifts. It's summer here, but today isn't too bad, thankfully. But I'm just wearing something comfy and light as I'll be running around all day. Of course, I picked up a matcha first, and I was very happy to see that Flying Tiger opened here recently. I really enjoyed shopping there in Europe, and I picked up some little gift wrapping items. I also really enjoyed looking at the cute decorations around the city. I visited a few bookstores and decided to treat myself to 2 books. Honestly, it was the hardest decision. I walked around for at least an hour trying to decide, but finally, I did make a choice. One of them is in my top reads of the year, which I'm going to show at the end of this video, so stay tuned if you'd like to see that. Now I'm finally back home and I'm settling in to do some gift wrapping. I really like these wax seals I found at Kmart. Obviously, I'm not showing what I'm actually wrapping because I don't want to ruin somebody's surprise if they watch this, but this one is for me. I cannot wait to play this game. If you're an Elden Ring fan, let me know. I also thought my tree was looking a little bare, so I picked up some more tinsel today, and of course I got red. Last year I was able to get a darker one, but I'm happy with how this turned out in the end. Today is the perfect day for reading at home with a coffee. I've just organized my top 5 reads of the year, but first I wanted to show you one of the books that I bought yesterday. This is the 25th anniversary edition of Nana. I couldn't get my hands on the limited edition Vivian Westwood one, unfortunately, but I still love this. It's a really important series to me, so I'm enjoying diving into it again. As promised, I'm going to share my top 5 reads from this year. This was really hard to put together. This is my reading wrap-up for the whole year. I haven't included any rereads, so all the books that I've shown here were new books to me. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the plot with these and what they're about. Rather, I'm going to focus on why I picked these and included them in my list. These aren't in any kind of order, but I'm going to save my favorite one for last. Starting off strong with Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato. This book drew me in immediately. It's no secret that I am obsessed with the Victorian era. It's my favorite period, and mixed with the absolutely unhinged horror aspects of this book, it was a perfect read for me. This was also my introduction to the author Virginia Fato, and after finishing this one, I did end up reading Mrs. March, which was almost just as good, so an honourable mention to that book in my wrap-up for this year too. I would recommend this book to everyone, although it does get quite dark. It's a book that I will be thinking about for a long time. It's one that I would like to read again soon, and it's something I'll never forget. Moving on to my second book in my top 5 reads of this year. Whenever a new retelling comes out about one of my favorite books, especially the vampire ones, I do feel a little skeptical and a bit scared. Carmilla in particular is a book that holds a special place in my heart, so I was absolutely thrilled to discover that I loved Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. One thing I love to experience when reading Gothic or horror is a sense of dread. I know that might sound a bit weird, but I feel as though it's a pinnacle for the Gothic genre in particular, and it's something I was happy to find when I was reading this book. I love the setting of this book, the characters and the atmosphere were great, and all of that just made it another perfect read for me on my list. I haven't read anything else by Kat Dunn yet, but I am really looking forward to seeing what this author releases in the future. And I'll just take a minute to show you this very beautiful hardback edition that I ordered. Of course, the cover is gorgeous. This is one of my favorite artworks, which is The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli. And then underneath we have this stunning red and black spine. "2025 ended up being the year I returned to manga after a very long time, and specifically my year of reading Junji Ito. I've been making my way through almost all of his works, and while Tomie is still my personal favorite and I'll always love Uzumaki, The Liminal Zone Volume 1 was a complete surprise for me. I actually expected Gyo to take this spot in my top 5, but this collection really stayed with me, and that's for a few reasons which I'm going to get into. I think it fit my taste so well because of stories like Weeping Woman Way, and also Madonna,
which contain such outstanding Gothic themes. They have that perfect, lingering sense of dread mixed with horror that Junji Ito is so renowned for. The whole concept of these liminal, transitional settings, that off feeling of being in between, really left me wanting more. I haven't yet read The Liminal Zone Volume 2, so I will get to that one soon, along with some others on my list. And I'm going to take a moment to show you this edition as well, which I didn't expect to have the slip on it, because I actually really love the cover underneath. Next on my list is Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen. If Hungerstone was about the slow build of dread, Blood on Her Tongue is about the explosion of it, and I loved every second of it. Another thing I look for in a good Gothic or horror book is an incredible ending. The more the unhinged, the better. And this ticked off all the boxes for me. It's dark and it's messy, and it stayed with me a long time after I finished it. This is also one of the best editions I've seen with the blood drip edges. And this is another author that I will be keeping my eye on in the future. And my final read of the year, and the best book that I read overall, was Dante's Divine Comedy Part 1, Hell. This is a book I've wanted to read for the longest time, and I'm so glad that I finally did. When I shared my reading progress on this book in my videos earlier this year, a few people did ask me to do a full review on this, but I didn't end up getting to that for a few reasons. This story is so wonderfully complex, layered and multifaceted that it felt difficult to formulate a review that would truly do this masterpiece justice. I didn't read as many classics this year as I have in the past, but reading a story like Dante's Hell reminded me exactly why I love them. It gives you such a clear understanding of why certain works uphold their status as a classic for centuries. This is a new edition that I picked up recently. I really love the new red and white penguins. It is the same translation that I read by Dorothy Sayers, and I love how small this is compared to my other copy. I also mentioned this in my reading progress, but this ended up on my TBR list because years ago I was in a bookstore browsing alone, and an old man came up to me randomly and he told me that I needed to read this. At this time, I really felt like I'd never be able to understand it all. It just feels like a full circle moment to go from that to now having finished it and loving it so much. This is also one of those books that I'll never forget, and it's one that I would just like to read again and again and just keep analyzing it. And that wraps up my top 5 reads of this year. I am already starting my list for 2026, so I'm excited to see what comes up next year. 3 of these were part of my Patreon book club, so I want to say a big thank you to my members for reading this with me, also for your support this year. We did discuss our top 5 reads recently, which was a lot of fun. So if you'd like to comment below, I'd love to hear what yours are and if any of these made your list as well. And I want to take a moment here to also thank everybody for their support this year. Whether this is the first video of mine you've ever seen or you've been following me from the start, your support means everything to me. So thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this glimpse into my quiet December, and I hope yours was peaceful too. This will be my last video for the year, so I'm wishing you a very happy new year as well, and I will see you next time.